You know, me, I was actually surprised that that a group of people will take the Nigerian government to court and win case.
It happens every day. It happens every day. And this, let me tell you, this thing is not about qualification or whatever. There are drivers that were fired. There were clerks. There were messengers. What requirement do you want them to bring first class? What requirement do you want from them? You understand? Why are you firing a driver or a clerk or a messenger? Which process, which qualification are you looking for from people? Honestly, there's a woman that works in government house from the time of Jack and worked throughout Jack's period and the long period as a temporary staff, like as just ad hoc or something. At the twilight of the Lanong, she was not properly given in. Only, and in fact, even when the current government came, she was working in government house. When the current government came, they employed staff and she trained them. Then they fired her immediately.
Wow.
This is Podcasts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another amazing episode of the Gist and Glasses podcast. I'm so happy to be back here. It's been a great time. The last weekend was fire. We had an amazing conversation the last time, and we are back here to do the same thing. You know how it goes. Every weekend we gather here by Friday to give you guys amazing content on YouTube, on Spotify. Please, if you have not subscribed to any of our channels, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and all of that, please do well to follow the link and just show us some love and support us in what we are doing. Today we're back here. It's going to be a very very dramatic conversation. Of course, I can tell you why, and that is because we have an Esquire in the building, guys. Please, for the very first time on the Gist and Glasses podcast, let us make welcome Barrister Nantok Dashua Esquire, managing partner, Dashua and Partners, legal practitioner and corporate and property consultants. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
nice to
for
be here.
honoring our invitation. Why are you smiling?
She's not smiling.
Are you Esquire?
I'm getting
Because
ready.
you think because you are close to the law, the law will not catch up with you.
Don't rub off on me.
Because you are close to the law will catch up with you. Let me tell you something. Please, let's give it up for amazing Kiswa James.
Hello.
Hi.
So good to be here.
Okay, and then Social Malam, of course.
Yeah.
What's up, bro? What's going on?
Fine. It's always nice to be here.
Yes, of course. Now, before I won't it be nice to be here. Okay, so we have a very, very important conversation on the Plateau. And today we are here to talk about it. Everybody is giving their own take. People who don't really have a broad knowledge or full understanding of what is going on.
Yeah.
Everybody just sees short videos on the internet and they're like, oh, this person said that person said that. And today we want to be able to clarify what really went on and what is really going on. Yeah. And this is as regards to the employment issue with the state government and, the whole tertiary institutions and all the staff and all of that. And we have Barrister in the building to give us a lot of light on what went down. So, first of all, the previous administration, is it Twilight? Where did they call them?
Yes.
At the twilight of their leaving office, they employed over 4,000 or 6,000 people. And the current administration now fired. It's not funny because people losing their jobs and all of that is not something that we should laugh about. But they fired them, and it became a bit of a controversy back and forth between the state government and the employees. So I would like to know what exactly went down. I'm sure you have a lot of information, you have a lot of background knowledge and story about it. Please tell us what exactly went down.
Well, actually, what happened is 2022, at the end of 2022, and the early part of 2023, before the previous administration's tenure was over, employments were carried out in generally throughout the civil service, ministries, various ministries, boards, parastatals, and tertiary institutions. So this employment, a lot of people got employed, and in fact started receiving salaries. A lot of them, like almost 90% of them, were paid for about 4 months or more.
Okay.
Yeah. So upon the assumption of office of this current administration, a declaration was made, a press statement was made, terminating employment. In fact, first of all, it was suspension.
Yes,
Suspension of all the employments, like totally, tertiary institutions and ministries, boards, parastatals, and all of that. So after the suspension, the governor constituted a committee to review the entire employment exercise. So that was done. Then after that suspension, then a declaration was made. Now that declaration recalled back staff from all other areas like ministries, boards, parastatals, told them to resume work and resume their employment. But for tertiary institutions, the employment were terminated by that same proclamation, that same announcement. So some of them who were beneficiaries of the employment felt aggrieved and went to court. And we battled for about a year in court. And the court finally decided that truly, we challenged the governor's power to do that, to terminate the employment and all that. So we were successful in court for not all the tertiary institutions. Some were, like Plateau State University was not affected. College of Nursing and Midwifery wasn't affected. But College of Plateau Polytechnic, College of Education Gindri, College of Art Science and Remedial Studies Garkawa, College of Agri Garkawa, and the College of Health Technology Zawan and Panshin were the ones that were affected, yes. So some of them who felt aggrieved went to court. Like I said, we succeeded, and the court ordered that they should be reinstated back to their employment. So the court eventually found that the employment was fine, like they were actually properly employed, and they should resume work. So they resumed work. Less than 2 weeks after they resumed work, then they terminated again. So basically, that's what has happened so far.
Okay, the thing is, right, I have my own reservations, right? And before we started shooting, I was saying that everybody has an opinion about it. Some of us, we don't have a general, we don't have all the stories, like, but we just see, okay, and then we make our decisions. For me, I felt like politics has its way of creeping into governance in Nigeria, and that is a very, very big problem. And people will do anything to get into power, into political office. Now, one of the reasons why I felt like, okay, it was okay for the governor to terminate some of their employment was because you've been in office, right, for 8 years, and you didn't see the need to employ people.
Until
do you understand?
About to go.
Until when
you were about to leave office.
So it means
like,
it's something.
My uncle was given an appointment. What they call that, handing over. Before handing over, I think it was on the handing over was supposed to be on a Monday, right? On Friday they were doing inauguration and giving out appointments to people.
That seems like already unusual as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, they were doing inauguration and they were giving out employment to people. Like, as at that time, I remember it was more like they were handing out employment letter. Like, okay, if you know anybody, or I take, as long as, in my own opinion, this is what I felt. If you're going to vote APC, take employment letter. That was what I felt was going on. Because you cannot just wake up, like, you have 2 days to go and you're now employing 4,000 people. Okay, if you had good intentions, why didn't you employ these
them
people
along, like, from
2
the
years
word
ago
go?
or 3 years ago when you're in office? Why did you have to wait till when you're leaving office to now start employing all these people? So now that's one issue that I felt like, okay, it's okay for the governor to come out and say, okay, all these people, we are going to terminate them, or we'll do a proper, we'll look at these people that have been employed and say, okay, some of these people don't actually, they don't qualify for some of those positions that they've been given. They were just giving letters and then they just resumed work and started collecting salary. Let's not forget too that this is a government that had not been able to pay staff salaries. They were owing, give or take, around like 6 or 7 months or thereabouts. I'm not really sure of the figure. And then you're now still employing more people. Like, make it make sense.
Yeah, so you see, firstly, just to make it clear, I'm not here to, or I will not, I've never put myself in a position to defend decisions of APC. Or the decisions of the previous administration. That's not my job. And there's a political part of this case and there's a legal part of it. My concern is the legal part of it. Now, all this, everything you have raised, why did you employ at the twilight of your administration and then you are owing salaries, you are still employed, and blah, blah, blah. These are political decisions. And as far as I'm concerned, there are people who benefited from these decisions. They are the victims currently. And these are the people I'm defending. Now, what government, from the day Plateau State government was created, since Gowon created 12 states in Nigeria, that state is the same till today. Every government that comes, administration that comes and goes, they are only like drivers in a vehicle that is already existing.
Yeah.
So the state is, people in regular parlance, people say government is continuum. So it's the same government. The decision of the previous administration is the decision of Plateau State government. It is the same Plateau State government today, run by a different
person.
Administration. So it doesn't matter who did the employment. It is Plateau State government that did the employment. Now, if, assuming I agree that processes were not followed to do the employment, whose fault was it? The government. So why should the government use its own fault to punish innocent people? Do you understand? It doesn't make sense. If the governor today, the current governor now, there are decisions he's making, there are contracts he's entering, and there are things that may not go down well with the people that will succeed him.
Yeah.
Those people should not be able to come and say, no, because I didn't like what the previous government did, I terminate this contract, I do this. That government cannot run like that. You can't run government in that manner. So, the decisions of the previous government, and first of all, I do not even consider at all that processes were not followed. I don't know your source of stories about dishing out employment letters to APC supporters. I have one of the leaders of these people I'm representing was a ward ESCO member of PDP. In fact, he was the chairman of all ward ESCO members in the local government, and the chairman of all ward ESCO members, ESCO leaders in Plateau State.
In let's 3 bullets.
And there are plenty people
like that.
Personally, I supported this government, and it's a matter of public record. You can check my social media and everything. In fact, I boast that in my community, I produced the best result for PDP in the last election. So what I'm doing is not totally it's not devoid of it's not political and whatever. And I'm not defending what the previous administration did. Of course, these vacancies exist. There's no doubt about it. Everybody agrees. In Plateau Polytechnic, for example, there are people who have worked as ad hoc staff for 15 years. That tells you that there's need
for employment.
This employment was not carried out for a long time. So, whether it was carried out in the first tenure of the previous administration, why does it matter? If the vacancies actually exist. So, there's not, whatever process that you said was not followed, which I do not concede. For me, the people I represented followed all the processes. In fact, there are people who bought forms, civil service forms for interview and all of that 2-3 times during long administration. They will advertise for employment. People will buy forms about 2-3 times. And people who passed through interviews before they were given employment letters. I can't say that for everybody. But I'm saying majority of people in fact, all the people I represent, there is none of them that I know that is not qualified for the office he held. And this, let me tell you, this thing is not about qualification or whatever. There are drivers that were fired. There were clerks. There were messengers. What requirement do you want them to bring first class? What requirement do you want from them? You understand? Why are you firing a driver or a clerk or a messenger? Which qualification are you looking for from him? So it doesn't make sense. Like, basically, I think that is just... So whatever it is, they are just trying to justify what has happened so far. And I think it's not really... The information that's out there is very false. Like this issue of, they're not qualified, that somebody with third class is lecturing and blah, blah, blah. If that was true, fish them out and send them out. But, you just blanketly... And what is worse is they went to court and won their case. Then 2 weeks after, we fired them again. What special have they done to offend you? Like, what they must have done something specially wrong to offend you. That is really...
the judicial arm of Nigeria is under a lot of scrutiny, right? Because a lot of people feel like certain things happen and they go on punch. Because I don't understand why you go to court, you win a case, and then they'll still fire you.
No, you see, what actually happened is the judgment for Plateau State Polytechnic was in September of last year. And the judgment for College of Education in Gindri was in October of last year. Now, there are, the cases, we filed the cases at the same time, but they were decided differently, yes. So, there were talks about settlement, so we didn't enforce the first two judgments we got because we were discussing settlement. The government approached, we were discussing forwarded terms, negotiations and all of that. We had all those negotiations believing that we were actually approaching settlement. So that's why we didn't enforce the first two judgments that we got. So by the time that it became clear to us that there was actually no serious intention to settle these cases, we now set machineries on ground to enforce the judgment for Plateau State Polytechnic and College of Education Gindri. So we filed what we call from 48, that's contempt proceedings basically. We initiated from contempt proceedings. And so the contempt proceedings, the heads of those institutions were ordered to be in court on the 2nd of June. So that to give reasons why they should not be punished for disobeying court order. Now, it was 3 days or 4 days before 2nd of June that they now complied. They now invited those that went to court to resume work. This is so that they can avoid
that deadline.
The date of the contempt proceedings. So by that invitation, they had already complied with the judgment, so there was no need for the contempt proceedings anymore. So when they resumed, they fired afresh. So that firing now is what we are now, we are already considering going to, but already we are actually in talks. Is what we're doing, like personally what I'm doing is not out of bad blood for the government or, I supported the government.
Yes.
But I strongly believe that the governor is misinformed or does not know actually the issues and people that are giving briefings are not actually, So basically, I think that's those the issues.
Okay, so talking about the judiciary system in the country and the rest, this is not the first time we're having something like this. We've seen cases where people go to the judiciary, they won their cases and they're not compensated, or the case was not implemented fully. So what can we say about these things? Because it's becoming, like for me, I even target a judicial miscarriage, actually, that, well, you have the court. The industrial court is one of the biggest courts in the country. And they've said that, okay, you should reinstate these people, and then you didn't. Okay, you reinstated them and then sacked them again. Are you saying that now the government is bigger than is the government now bigger than the
executive?
The executive now. Are they bigger than the judiciary statement? That's one. Then number two, can we talk about the root cause? What is the basic root? What is the main root cause of these people being sacked? Because I know for the medical, because I know someone that gained employed in Plateau Hospital, and then the suspension affected them, but after a while they resumed. But why is it that the lecturer's own is the particular one that we're still going back and forth? And then even after the statement of the government, the governor, some of them brought out their results, their certificate, and we could see that, okay, they graduated with good results. That,
so
yes, they are qualified.
So firstly, the question about the judiciary is not an isolated part from the Nigerian society.
Yeah.
Nigeria as a society has issues. So the judiciary is part of this Nigerian society. So you don't expect that the judiciary will be
flawless.
safe. But I usually tell people that I admit that, yes, there are issues in the judiciary, but the judiciary is still the most sane arm of government compared to the executive and the legislature. Because, the controversial cases that people insult the judiciary about are less than 1% of the judgments that these courts give daily. Judgments in thousands are being dished out from various courts, high courts, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, Industrial Court, Federal Court, and all of that. But the few ones that doesn't go.
Maybe because it affects these ones that do not go according to how the public perceives justice. It affects everybody.
No, there are plenty others that affect everybody. That goes in for instance, this issue of local government autonomy. The Supreme Court said, why are people not clapping for the judiciary for that? It affects everybody too. So there are plenty other judgments that are, in fact, the majority of the judgments are judgments that are sound, like you can defend anywhere, and that ordinarily, if they had gone the opposite side, would have caused a bit of controversy. But people don't commend the judiciary as much as the judiciary deserves. Then the issue of whether the court is taken for granted for giving an order, and basically it is because of the fear of the consequence of disobedience that made the institutions invite them back, because the judiciary can bite actually. So every lawyer has his way of, trying to seek justice for his clients.
Yeah.
But I took the step to enforce the judgment, and that step yielded fruit. The fruit is they were called back. Now, the sacking afresh is a different course of action, and we'll tackle it in that. We are hoping to return to court, but subject to some discussions that are currently ongoing, that it's possible that, because governor has made statements in public that they will consider. We're still waiting. We're still waiting to see.
Me, I was actually surprised that that a group of people will take the Nigerian government to court and win case.
It happens every day.
It
happens every day.
In fact, like this brings me to
It happens every day.
to the question I actually jotted down to ask you. Remember when you came, I was like, what actually prompted you to take up the case, on behalf of those that were actually laid off? And then I feel like this question should have come like from the beginning of the, maybe you can just walk us through the journey of your, your professional.
Okay.
Yeah. I would love to know that.
Like, did they
about
threaten you
get-
want to fight government?
Let's hear your journey, and then let's hear what prompted you to take on the case, on behalf of those who were actually laid off. And then how was your anticipation? Like, did you anticipate how politically sensitive or challenging the case might have been? And then what was your... I told you, I said, I love your confidence. Okay?
You see, basically, for me, my journey, I think from very early, I've been like somebody, I don't want to call myself an activist.
Defender.
Yes, I was usually interested in public discussions.
Yeah, great.
And when I feel something is not correct, I try to put effort to correct it.
Nice.
So, from university, I was student union president in UJ.
No.
really?
That's passion.
What year?
Already.
2010, 2011.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I have an activist background.
Yes.
And that actually, unfortunately for me, I studied law, so I became a lawyer. I didn't have plans to practice the profession of law, actually. But I picked interest in law school, NYC. I felt it's like the thing is...
It's calling you.
So I became interested and actually entered legal practice and was tutored from a very reputable office here in Jos. My principal was the first indigenous senior advocate of Nigeria. Yeah, so that's where I did my pupillage and worked with him for about 9 years before establishing my own office. So basically for me, the background of activism has always been there. So when I was contacted to handle this case, in fact, it was one of them who knew me, and they had contacted few lawyers who had charged some good money. And these are people who are unemployed, so you can imagine that they will not have money to pay. So they called me, and I was not in Jos at that time, I was out of Jos. So will I be interested to take up the case? I said, I was hesitant. I was hesitant, so I said I'll call back. Thought about it. I know people also that were affected, so I felt
this is a good cause.
But the contention about I supported the government. I was wondering how
it will look like.
Yeah, my friends my friends are in government, like they're the ones office, and so I felt they might not understand. But eventually I said, well, it's a what cause. So I said yes, I was going to take it up. So they asked, they don't have money, what do I do? I said, no, we can the arrangement we can make, I can take it up for free. We can arrange on how you guys get paid me afterwards, yes, if we succeed. So they became excited, and truly, when I came back, I had a meeting, they had the leadership, and that's how we started. So we took it up. Of course, there were a lot of, plenty of people didn't go to court because they didn't believe that the judiciary can do anything about it. So they just give up. Even those that came, just reluctantly just put in their names and all of that. So we took it up. And I was so sure in my mind that I had a good case. And I presented my case properly before the court. The court agreed with me eventually, and the rest is history. But like, now that this has happened, the recycling, we're expecting to only Plateau Polytechnic and Gindri have recalled and resacked. Currently, College of Health, Zawan and Panshin have recalled their staff. They're already back. They are doing documentation. We're expecting that they will sack them very soon, so that because
wow,
yes.
Wow. Okay.
So that's just as per my background. That's it.
Awesome. Really reputable. Okay. So my next question would be that Okay, well, of course, I would believe that you actually encountered like some form of resistance, legally or politically, during the course, of this case. So, how did you maintain objectivity and focus in a case that was involved in a powerful city government? How was it?
Yeah, of course, a lot of calls from relations that were worried.
That's what I mentioned.
Yes, relations, friends. Some friends who we supported the government with were wondering, like, why would you take up this case?
It was more like you're shitting yourself.
Exactly.
On the food, yeah.
So, well, in fact, and I've suffered disadvantage, from people who ordinarily should have benefited something from the government because of these cases. But for me, I feel like it's a worthy course to follow. So, whatever disadvantage I've suffered, I don't mind, actually.
Wow.
So I'll just
Wow.
But there are pressures, people called and all of that. But basically, professionally, if you're properly trained, you know that you divorce sentiments from law.
Yeah.
True.
So I faced the law, the legal issues in the issue. Totally divorced myself from my political sentiments. I support the government. I like the government. But I kept that aside and faced the legal part of it.
I really like the fact that you were someone who supported the government from inception.
Yes.
So it is not about.
It's not position.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because
just standing for.
honestly, like when I see the way a lot of these opposing
Opposition people, yeah.
the way they do their opposition, like sometimes it's just dumb. Like it's flimsy, it's petty, and
doesn't carry water.
it doesn't carry any serious weight.
Yeah.
You get, like, you don't see that. It's more like they are looking for the new thing to talk about, right? And let us not forget the fact that our leaders may not always get it right. Do you understand?
Yes.
So they may not always get it right, but then we should be able to focus on what are the things that they are getting right, and how do we move on from
But what your expectation is a reasonable expectation. Opposition, their main job is to fish out the problem in the government.
Yeah.
If they don't do that, if imagine they begin to sing praises of the government, what will be their difference? Do you understand? So they must find something to talk about, and the job
even if it's unreasonable and
they have
senseless.
to, no matter how senseless it is. If the governor coughs and he coughs in a manner that they will make it an issue.
Right?
You understand? So it is their job to oppose, and unless they oppose, you will not actually see what is like. Sometimes the opposition creates pressure on the side of government to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So even if they were thinking in a particular direction, when they see
That they know that these people are on their back.
So it's unreasonable expectation to imagine that the opposition will be clapping for the government and be saying no, singing their praises and stuff. It's unreasonable expectation. That's what I'm saying.
Even me, like, I supported the governor, right, during election, during campaign and all of that, because I felt like, okay, this was the person who was going to take the state to the next level and all of that.
Of course.
And let me not lie, anytime I see things that I don't, my own personal opinion, I don't think that this is what we should be doing, or this is where we should be spending state resources and fund. I will talk about it. If you go to my Twitter, like, there are days where today I'm for Caleb Mutu, and tomorrow you see me, and so sometimes it looks like
So the reason why you're doing that is because you're not a politician.
yes.
If you're a politician and the first day you say anything negative about the governor, you'll be excommunicated and in fact expelled from the party maybe. You understand? So you have to be careful what you say.
Where you stand.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't like what the government is doing. You can't say it in public.
Yeah.
You understand? And then
I feel like that's one of the reasons why our country cannot move forward, because you can clearly see that somebody is not doing well, and you're saying that I must, like, am I a zombie that will be
this happens everywhere. It's not just in Nigeria. If you check American politics, a Democrat will always defend democratic principles.
Yeah.
A Republican will defend, no matter how bad or how reasonable, whatever it is. When they are in public, they will defend their party. That's how politics is actually.
Wow.
For me, like, I have a bit of experience from both politics and law, so I understand these things.
Wow. Okay.
wow.
Okay, so you see why one of the reasons why I say the governor is not properly informed is this is just one class. There are plenty of other cases I have in court against the government about employment. This ones we are discussing now is just limited to tertiary institutions. There are I have another set of cases that, the governor had said people should resume work.
Yeah.
Those people resumed work and discovered their names were replaced. Plateau, for instance, Plateau State Health Management.
Yes, insurance.
And even the ministries, various ministries. Maybe there was 200 people employed in that ministry, for instance, or in the entire ministry. Then when you go to resume, when the governor said everybody should resume, when they went, the list of 200 is there, but their name was not there. So a lot of people, and there are about 300 that their names were replaced from, they could not benefit from the governor's decision to recall back people. So it happened in Placema and the ministry.
So it means that some people in those ministries
substituted some names.
have taken out some names and replaced those names.
Those cases are still in court. Hopefully, we are going to get decisions on them.
Hey, Bascos. Wait, so
that's a different class of.
That's like another case entirely.
This one's for the tertiary institutions, the governor terminated. So that's one class of the cases. This one's the governor said resume work. They resumed and discovered their names were substituted. I mean, they were no longer part of. They have employment letters, but they were told, sorry, we can't take you. So those cases are there.
Wow. Okay.
So if the governor knew about these things, I'm sure he would be saying a lot of things that he's saying.
No, okay, like I saw, like me, I'm a social media person, but I don't like unnecessary gossip.
Maybe you should be following the cases so that you.
Yeah, I think I would.
Because this is the first time I'm even knowing that. Okay, the lawyer representing them supported the present administration. You know, one might think that they will just look for someone that is from the other administration that did not support this administration actually, but then
so that the matter go hot.
But at the end of the day, then I think even the people in question are not even giving much information about the
victims now.
Yes, the victims. I think they should do more because we followed some of them and then what they even post, I don't know whether because they are grieved or what, but most of the things they post comes from emotions. And then I think since you are their lawyer, I think they should do more of educating people on how the case is going. And then
you see, the first it costs money to have publicity, to do media stuff and all of that. It costs money. So these are people that there are times they come to my office, we have meetings, and the one that give them transport money to go back. Or we are supposed to have meetings and somebody will say, I don't have transport. I say, send transport. So how do you expect them to begin to get journalists? At the beginning, we started making effort to get journalists to cover the. But I got tired because I was the one sponsoring it. So basically, so at the end of it, the misinformation. And sometimes you can't blame them too much because they're emotional.
Yes,
these are people that have been. I know plenty of people who have young families. Like they just got married shortly after, around the period they got the employment. Their wives are pregnant or they've just put to bed. They don't have a job. Some people resigned other employments to come and take up these jobs. And they are now fired. And in fact, what is more painful is there are people, these 2 weeks that they resumed, people went to pay rent in Gindri. Just to be fired again. You understand? So when they speak and they speak with emotion, you understand.
Of course.
Personally, I have to, it's because I'm trained as a lawyer, I have to remove emotion from it.
I think it's a very wonderful one that at least we are having you and we're getting the main intel of everything that is going on, because I can see that a lot of people don't even know the details of the issue. And then it's quite unfortunate that just like you said about politics and other things, when they were sacked, I think humanity should come first before everything. And that's what you did by forgetting that you supported this present administration to take up the case. We saw a lot of people celebrating the sacking of these people. Yes. And then it was just like, we're all brothers. No matter the party, I know people that supported the president. I didn't. And we're from the same house. And we catch cruise with it. But that doesn't mean that if one is hot, then we should celebrate. We should celebrate it.
Because at the end of the day, the people that were employed are still Plateau people.
Yes, and then the others were happy.
Yes,
because just like you said on social media, I think from the time the governor made the statement of the $80, the other times we could see that there is a lot like.
Please, what is the fundamental issue of that $? Because me, I only saw a video recently, I think like a week ago, where he was saying that they didn't understand what he was trying to say. That like
No, it was just like what the what Barrister said. I think the governor is being misinformed.
You see, the first video I saw
Was in
one
Hausa.
where he Hausa where he referred to people as Dolai. From the information I have, like I don't know how solid the information is here, is that he actually was receiving
Salah
felicitation
homage
from the Muslim community. So I think I heard it was Emir Fawzi, I don't know how true, that commended him for recalling back the people that were sacked and went to court, and also solicited that those that didn't go to court should also be considered to also resume work. So it was in response to that comment that he now started saying that there were people who were sacked were not qualified, that they were not qualified to teach, and so that's how the Dolo and Dolaye.
okay, so the governor actually like say that.
Yes, he said, I'm not sure if I'm quoting correctly, but he said in Hausa, Bazamu bar
Dolaye su koyar da
su koyar da
yaran.
Dolo to koyar da Dolaye. They will not allow Dolo to teach Dolaye.
More like a statement.
Did you get? So
Because
basically that's what he said.
indirectly, yeah.
And that caught fire and became issues.
In fact, I
And-
heard that somebody did a song about it.
Yeah, I heard the song. And then the day after that
Wow.
Dolaye statement was the day they started firing people from Gindri. I was somewhere in like attending a burial when they started receiving plenty calls. I was in church, so I refused to pick. But the calls became too many and too frequent. So I had to step out, answer the calls like, they sent me something more. Let me check my WhatsApp. So when I checked WhatsApp, and I saw the termination of Poli Gindri. So that's how they started receiving the news. And we just immediately knew that Poli would do the same, and all the other schools would do the same. So we're already expecting for Zawan and Panshin.
Well. Okay, so but basically, I feel like we'll see how this whole thing unfolds as the days go by.
Yes, if we don't settle, we'll end up in court.
Okay, so what is the settlement that they are asking?
If they recall people, if there are people who genuinely you think are not qualified, take them out.
Yes.
You understand?
That is fair.
Yeah, so but me, I believe from my own all information at my disposal, everybody I represented was qualified.
Okay, now, so what about the people that you are not representing? What is...
Well, some of them have come now, and they want to take
Tag
They
the
want to
Yeah.
tag along. Now that they're saying that there's a progress.
There's victory.
But immediately after, and we had started taking steps, but immediately after the governor made the statement that those that didn't go to court were going to be favored. So a lot of them pulled back. But unfortunately, the employment letters are currently being shared. A lot of them did not get.
Yes.
So they are actually now interested in going to court. So but we consider the issue.
So what is it with Nigerians
So,
that something
what's all
generally
the
is
sentiment?
affecting
Yeah.
you and you are not getting involved from the get-go? It is not that you're saying that, oh, this thing looks like it's going to happen.
Some people were promised employment. Don't go to court. When we do it again, we'll give you employment. So they didn't go. Some, they didn't believe that anything good can come out of it. So those that were promised employment and their hope has been dashed are the ones that are now
Coming back.
Yes.
Well,
Wow.
Auntie?
Yes.
It's a pathetic story. So
Yeah, actually.
honestly, there are plenty. In fact, there's a woman that works in government house from the time of Jan and worked throughout Jan's period and the long period as a temporary staff, like as just ad hoc or something. At the twilight of the long administration, she was not properly given employment. And in fact, even when the current government came, she was working in government house. When the current government came, they employed staff and she trained them. Then they fired her immediately.
Wow.
Just chased her out to police and all of that. So
This is serious.
if you hear people's stories, like this kind of stories are what actually moved me to do. There are plenty of stories of people who have. I know somebody who left. In fact, she left her employment in Kaduna, persuaded her husband to also leave because his was it's private. So she has his government work. He relocated back to Jos to take up. So he has quit his job. She has quit her job in Kaduna to take this one. Then they terminated.
Wow. That's really
There are plenty of stories like that,
devastating, actually. So, well, for me, I would say this one now is like more like moment of reflection for me, right? And so my next question would be that, so this case, right, about the role of judiciary in protecting the rights of citizens against political decisions, I see a lot of protection really coming from you, and it's highly commendable, right? So looking back, what would you say is the biggest lesson this case, like personally, has taught you personally? And of course, viewers that, would actually view and listen personally or professionally, you would want to shed some light there.
I think it has just strengthened my ability to sieve between emotion and
like that.
and
Yeah.
work, professional, because like this is an emotional issue. It can
Very,
easily get
very
sentimental.
emotional.
It's sensitive,
Yeah,
really.
And I made a post on Facebook immediately after the termination. Refiring started.
Wow.
Throughout the whole issue, I've refrained from making comments on public, like on the issue. So, but that one really touched me because the resacking, I felt like all the efforts I've made
Was
wasted. So, but it gave me a new resolve that, look, as far as these people are unemployed, we will go to court as many times as they are fired.
Yeah.
So if we go to court and we succeed again and they employ them and they fire them, we'll still go back. So we'll keep going until the government of this administration finishes.
Wow.
So from that's helping
Wow.
to make
This is really commendable.
lawyer work now, back and forth.
Okay, so Barrister Nantok, it has been engaging and an interactive session with you. I've learned. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. If I don't like anything lawyer, just
You know, like you know. You see something.
sincerely, like so. But I mean, sitting with you has really enlightened me, really, and this was really impactful. So this is more like, one thing that I want you to say out there to, of course, we have upcoming lawyers. Every year we get to graduate a lot of lawyers. We have people who are actually on it. And what you did was, for me, this is my opinion, was highly commendable. And I could sense passion. I could sense love for humanity, and all of that. So what advice would you give to young lawyers who want to take on bold, socially impactful cases like this one? Because me, if I'm a lawyer, I will not even want to get this kind of,
For me, I think first is the drive. Whatever made you want to study law, Some people study law by accident, like their parents want them to study law.
Yeah.
Some are pushed.
I have a cousin like that.
Yeah, so if you don't have the drive, we can't help you. There's nothing we can do. But if you have the drive, it's usually difficult, especially for at the beginning when you're starting. In Hausa, you're quitting kwakwa. Yeah. So if you are able to enjoy the beginning part,
The journey.
eventually it will pay off. If you work hard, pray, with God on your side, you would always. But it's difficult to motivate someone to do an act of humanity, like to do charity.
True.
It's not something you can motivate somebody to. The person
It has to be in it.
Want to do it.
So if you for people who are studying law or currently lawyers who are, I hardly can even tell you what to motivate you. But basically, find a drive within you. Whatever is pushing you, just push it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yep, I'm done.
Okay, guys, we really want to thank you, Barrister, for taking our time to come here and do this with us to enlighten the public and, even enlighten ourselves. We shed a lot of light, a lot of information that we thought we knew, we really did not know like that.
Yeah.
Just making decisions based on a lot of sentiment and what we see online and all of
Emotions,
that.
yeah.
And of course, you've been able to clarify a lot of things, and we really appreciate you for taking our time. And we are sure that when we call you the next time for maybe after the case has been won or
Yes,
whatever
sir.
happens,
Yes, sir.
we would like to have you back here to know how it went down and
Yes,
all of
sir.
that.
No problem.
So we really appreciate you. Thank you for everybody behind the scene, all the camera people and the Caris that is pressing laptop and cleaning the Okay, guys, we really want to appreciate you guys for taking our time to stay tuned to this particular episode. Please, if you've not subscribed to our channel, I just go beg you. I beg. Please subscribe, share, drop your comments, drop your hearts, your likes, and all of that. And of course, I'm sure that we'll see you guys on the next episode. Please be safe, take care of yourself, and be good. Bye-bye. See you next time.